welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I'm truly excited, honestly, to get started, to get this live stream going today. And for you, all of you who are tuning in, whether in the present time or a restream or a later time or whatever it is, however you find your way to my words. Thank you. Sincerely, I am grateful. This life adventure we're sharing, man. Holy cows, holy cows. I am offering everyone today blessings and love to you all. Part of my excitement today of starting is reflection. Here, let me point out again, please, for those who are new, just to familiarize yourself with the territory and the plan. Here I am with love in my background, love in my heart, love being shared through the technology and space. It's amazing. And I want to encourage you behind what I'm offering, what I want to help you grow more comfortable in is resting in the Lord. Today, just a basic, it's all about Jack these days, at least in my life. But hear the message today, Jack Talcott sharing Chats with Jack. Come join the conversations, and I'll drop the link here in a few minutes. We'll see where today goes, but live without fear. It truly is. It is through love. Love can overcome. Love dissolves. Love transmutes all fears. So surrender to love and live without fear of loss. I mean, that's really what the ego's afraid of. The ego's afraid of losing. It's a trap, man. Give your ego up. Give your pride up. Give your worries up. Become true. Because truly love wins. It can be explained so many different ways. It can. And so where I'm coming from today, brothers and sisters, reflecting on part of my excitement wanting to get started is I'm really wondering, maybe like you, those who are tuning in, what's this guy Jack gonna say next? Did you hear the stuff I said yesterday? Holy crap, man. I look back at what I was saying and I get it. I understand, but I don't know. Maybe I should have just kept that private. I never was very good at that, I guess. Respecting my privacy. That's why I never got away with anything substantial when I was a kid. I was so quick to confess my guilt. Man, I don't know. How'd I get off on that topic? Oh, yeah. The things I've said, the things I've done in my life. Holy cows, man. It's been an adventure. So I've got where I'm coming from today, the basics of love. Love truly does win. There is a love that's beyond our words, beyond our comprehension. It is. Okay? I know my truth. I know for me, truth is God. Love lords over me, my choices, and what I do. Love brings me to you. It's the way God's got us to work. It's how we're designed. We're designed to love. The human experience is to learn and to grow in love. I've got these ideas in the description of the Facebook and of the YouTube. In the description already is a link to Aaron Abke's video. I've talked about him a bunch, and I encourage you, check it out. Some of these words are built off of what he said, and I may play a few minutes of this, but you know what? Let's get into the basics of love before I drop the link. Not to distract, Yeti Life says, seems like you massaged your thighs today, Jack. Dude, I actually, it's a running joke, but it's kind of true. Try it out for yourself, sincerely. Not in a, juvenile, horny way, rubbing your body, not in that way, but explore your body, the meridians, the tangle of, dude, there's so much in our bodies. They're so complicated, but when you give your body attention, the rewards, man, it's endless. It feels good to feel good, and you feel good by caring about your body. So where I've actually been wondering, I look forward to a future day, and I hope to have someone who's in the medical field who actually understands the body. I'd love for them to have a look at my legs and see what they think. Have I done anything substantial? Because seriously, I must have thousands of hours in massage, because you can do it while you're doing pretty much anything. So I did massage myself. That's part of the way I spend time in heaven. Heavenly pleasures, man. They're no joke. Every time you spend in bitterness and anger, it's time you're missing out on heavenly feelings. Dude, I've done both. I've had time and opportunity, right? Kind of everything I was attached to was like, no, Jack, you're not good enough anymore. You got to go do it yourself. So I had to reinvent myself, man. I had a lot of time and opportunity to study things, to learn about things I'd never even thought about, never even considered that people could know. But I learned things I didn't know. And so I've had a lot of time, prayer, meditation, trying to find a greater connection with the all knowing, because I don't know what my purpose is here. I've only put together pieces that make sense, and it makes sense to me that now that I devote myself and I want to follow Jesus, well, he was a blessing to the world. I'd love to be a blessing to the world. I'd love to repent from my choice to involve myself in the military industrial complex. I volunteered for 2 enlistments to play the role as a soldier. And by God's grace, I was kept safe and others were kept safe from me. But I'd love to represent those other men and women. War moves me. It's an evil that our world does not need. There is so much evil happening right now. Here, you know what? Let's shift the topic back to the topic. Living with, or the basics of love. Aaron does an excellent job of explaining. So we'll play just a few minutes. And again, the link, well, I'll share it once more here. The link is in the description. Come on. There we go. Yeah.
So today I want to talk about how and why love is the only prize we need to seek in this life. And that living according to love, the law of one, is the only thing we're really looking for, whether we really.
I got this sped up. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I'm gonna go here. The law of one, he mentions. What is love? Love is that unifying force. It brings things together. Love is a power, it's a gift, it's a treasure that we don't want to be selfish with. You truly do. From my experience, you do you, but if you want a better world, you align with that which is love. You allow love to be true with you, for you, through you. So you can share love. That's the purpose of life. We've got so many people, good-hearted people. They've convinced themselves they're doing good things. They're following traditions, they're following rules, they're following religions and doctrines. But love is not divided. Love is not fractured. There's not conditions on love, not from the divine. God's love is whole. God's love is perfection. It's only mankind's corruption, the excuses and blame. The world's problems are people, not Mother Earth, not the changes of nature. And people aren't even the problem. The problem is a lack of understanding. People don't know who they are. I want to help you know who you are. Know thyself. If you get to know me a little better, you can see in your mind what I'm talking about. I am you. You are me. It's in the Bible, right? Love God. Love God with all your mind, heart, spirit. Love one another. You cannot claim to love God and then find an enemy with another. It's a contradiction. Here's a beautiful opportunity for peace. Welcome.
I am here to spread love because today is going to be one of the most specialist days for you to find love, Jack Talcott. You have been asking to come closer, to have connections, to have private help with many people, and someone has a love bomb that's going to explode all over you here soon. Now, the question is, are you going to accept the love offered or not?
I can only hope to be worthy.
Well, I will yield. I just want you to know that when the love bomb explodes all over you, do not take it lightly and take it seriously. You wanted someone to make the ultimate sacrifice of sacrifices, right? All the time. You ask us all the time, right? In fact, let's bring it up. Wasn't it some guy named Paul Enslaved? You said, you don't make the sacrifice. I want in your life more privately. I want to work with you. I want to do things. I want us to make it happen, right? Just remember that. Because today, Jack Talcott will receive the love bomb of all. But the question is are you willing to really do it? Same with the other end. The optics are high. Enjoy your show, Jack. By the way, you're blasphemous as shit and you're still a rapist.
Wow. Why do you phrase that as a threat? That doesn't make any sense. I would say just reject it outright.
He's fascinating. I actually meant to point this out earlier. Here's where I'm at. You know, the little boy in me, I really want to play. I really want to play around. That's the devil inside of me. I want to engage, but at the same time, I don't. Hey, let me welcome.
Jack, why'd you throw Snafu out? I wanted to make a proposal to you. I'm willing to make the ultimate sacrifice and tie the knot with you. I'm willing to actually marry you and move into that house over there. We can finally connect privately, and we can merge and bridge the gap. We could probably get some benefits and privileges out of it too. Are you willing to share that kind of love? That's the question. And I've already taken the last name. I'm of course going to be the man in the interaction, right? You're going to be Mrs. Talcott, but still, I took the name already, Mr. Talcott. There it is. Wait, you might actually have to take my name. I don't know how that's going to work with the trademarks, though.
I'm wondering. Holy cows! There's a confession. I'm wondering if I should share. Because
go ahead, tell the world, Jack.
I've already had that type of relationship. I didn't enjoy it.
Married to a man?
A business relationship.
Right. All right, Jack. Well, since you turned me down, I'm just going to go ahead and reveal that me and Snafu, as much as I can't stand him, he finally had a good idea and stopped lying. And he said, you should like, well, we came up with it together. I actually had the idea, but he coaxed me. I figured I'd marry you, and once it was finalized, I would get a divorce and take half the house. So it's a good thing that you denied my proposal, because really we were just I was trying to use you to get half that house there before you. I think that I don't know if you're going to lose it. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Is any of this even real at this point? Is where I'm kind of sticking on. So, better off. I really didn't want to have to do it, but I was prepared to. You know, you got to get it how you live.
It's creative, but you didn't think it through. That's Snafu's problem, man. You got to watch him. He'll make it sound good, but he did not think his thoughts through.
Right. Yeah, we can't get anything done precisely because of that. All right, I'm going to let you go. I don't want to take up any more of your time.
Blessings and love. I appreciate you joining, my friend.
Wasn't gay marriage legalized like 20 years ago? Neither you had to be the woman.
Oh, here. Have you heard of the law of one? I paused the video because Aaron brought that up.
I don't recall. I'm sleepy.
Why did you deny the love that was brought to you?
Oh, were you referring? Oh, that's what you were.
So you don't even see love when it's presented to you, and you just throw it out the door. Paul was going to make the ultimate sacrifice, and I wanted to see him go all the way, get the license, get the marriage, and this does everything that you asked. You wanted to be closer to him. You wanted to have relations with him as far as private, and gay marriages. You said yourself you'd go bisexual at one point, so I wanted to push Paul. So why wouldn't you say yes? You should just say yes, so we see if he goes through with it.
Hold on here.
You two should get married. You two should get married.
Snafu, I'm going to give you some respect here, just so please. I used you as an example with Paul, and I said he didn't think his thoughts through. And what was I doing? I was turning away an opportunity. There was goodness in that duplicitous offer, but I didn't think it through quick enough.
Right, because what's a license? Deal with it, blah, blah. You guys could fight over the house later, all that shit.
I have to agree with Snafu for once. How dare you turn down that proposal? That was a lovely offer.
And it was love. He turned down love most of all. Like that's the
very
biggest
sad.
thing. We all witnessed you turn down love.
Here,
Do you
let me.
understand your marriage?
Yeah,
I
sure.
offered, hey, I don't know if you know this, Jack, but I said if you and Paul really go through and get married, legitly, I will hang the zebras up for a month.
Really,
No more
Snafu?
drama. No more zebra bro. No, if they really get married, you guys can bring peace and love and unity by truly getting married here online. Like real marriage. You could bring peace to the YouTube world. You always say you want to stop wars, and this is your chance, Jack. But now, if you're really serious about it, I wonder if Paul's going to be serious now. That's the
Well,
question.
yeah. And I
That's
heard
the
that the
question.
crew might actually
If you guys-
fundraise the event. Is that
right,
true?
we will. We'll host it. We'll even do the bachelor party. But like, if you two really get married, legitly through the license of I will hang the zebras up. You will create peace throughout the internet, and we all will be in celebration of Paul and Jack getting hitched. I could even make amends with certain enemies. But I just want to know why you denied love without even really like it was all love, and you didn't even think about it. Everything you asked for, you wanted closeness with them, you wanted privateness with them, you wanted. Don't shake your head at me. You know that's what you've been saying.
I have an idea. Just blame me for it. That'll work.
Hank, you're irrelevant. Hank, you have always been irrelevant, Hank. No, everyone tells you this, and you just don't listen.
Of course not, because
That's
most
not
people are
Right,
just
you're
stupid.
irrelevant, Hank.
Yeah, most people
Snafu,
are
Jack is
stupid.
processing his emotions right now. We have to
I
give
just
him a
wanna
moment.
say-
We have to give him a moment.
I just
Let's
want
watch
to
a clip
say,
or
yeah,
something,
I'm
Jack.
giving Jack needs to contemplate what just happened here.
Yeah, he
Because
was too quick to
shut-
decide there. He needs a little time to think, I think.
Yeah. Hank gave Jack bad advice, so let's try it again.
I already recognize that. I've already reflected within myself. I see what happened and why it happened, and Snafu hasn't shut up yet. Golly, jeez.
Hey, at least he's in a good mood today. Shoot. I think it's because love is in the air, Talcott. I really think that this is because something that's meant to be. You and Paul are meant to get married. Share that house together for a little while.
There's a union that's already happened, and now it's just a matter of what are we going to do with what we've got. And the idea that did surface after a moment is, what a story. Why not?
Exactly.
To gain some attention. I don't know. We'd have, because I don't want to do it just as a mockery of it, but there's something to be said. See, there's always a way. You use the systems against the systems, and that includes ways to get publicity.
That's exactly what that's not what this is about, Jack. This is first and foremost about love. But yeah, publicity is a great side benefit.
Is it? Oh my gosh. See, this is why I'm doing the topic today. The basics of love. Mankind dude, we've been lied to. Love. That's love is why we're here. It's what we want. We're all searching for it. Love is God. It's even said in the Bible. And the commandment from Jesus was love. And the more I practice trying to stay in love, dude.
Yeah, it makes life a lot easier.
It does, but where we live in a world of trauma, and people don't realize what real love is. I didn't. I thought I knew love. I thought I understood a lot of things in the past, man. Unless you guys have something, I do want to play a few minutes of Aaron. I was looking at maybe the first 5 minutes. It gets the message across. Before I do, though, the law of one. The law of one it's the unity, that there is no separation from anyone or anything. There is only love in many different forms.
Hello, brother Jack. Truth or Cop? Hank?
How's it going, Nubs?
Welcome.
Doing swell. Thank you for asking.
So
Go ahead.
here, so he's going to mention the law of one and A Course in Miracles. And I tell you what, these things are in line with what Jesus was teaching about love and mercy, compassion, forgiveness, about being righteous while we're alive here on earth. So the topic of his video is as it says. He's got some near-death experiences, and some people are sharing their testimonies regarding, just because you're involved with a church does not mean you're serving God. But here, he offers, in my opinion, I think this young man is a very gifted teacher regarding the psychology of being. And, well, here, I'll let him speak.
So today I want to talk about how and why love is the only prize we need to seek in this life. And that living according to love, the law of one, is the only thing we're really looking for, whether we realize it or not. Because when love is fully apprehended, it brings with it every other blessing God has for us. We don't need to seek for, wealth, success, prosperity, healthy friendships, healthy body, healthy mind. We don't need to seek any of these things. We just need to seek one thing, love. And when we attain love, every other gift in God's kingdom comes with it. So more specifically, I want to help you see today that love is the only energy that truly satisfies and fulfills the law of one. Here in 40 University, we talk a lot about and give a lot of emphasis to the law of one, because we know that this is the one law that governs everything in the universe, undeniably, right? This is an obvious fact of our experience. When you do good unto others, good comes back to you. When you harm others, that harm comes back to you. And this is because
When you do good to others, good comes back to you. When you cause harm, harm comes back. It's the way the universe is designed. Snafu? All right. Thank you.
What does the law of one say? The law of one says that God is law. The law of one says that if we violate love, there are consequences because the universe exists in perfect balance. And so we cannot make the universe imbalanced with our own imbalanced actions. Imagine if that were the case, if any imbalanced action made the whole universe imbalanced. And so like every evil thing that's done makes the nature of the universe inherently more evil every time. Like what if the universe followed our actions rather than us following it?
Hey,
What
Jack.
if it just, you know what I mean? We would be.
Yeah.
Hey, Jack. At the beginning of this video, just remember 301 on time set. Can you rewind it to the picture of the intro in the video? I want to point something out real quick. I don't see the screen. It's the intro picture of his video.
Yeah. Whoops. Here. Sorry.
I want to point something out.
Whoops. Where was it?
It's at the very beginning. The intro. Yeah, that one right there. Right there. No. Fast forward. And I'll tell you. Pause it there. Right there. What is that, Jack? What is that symbology in the middle of that? What is that? I think it's a 666. Oh yeah. Did you ever notice that, Jack? From the guy wearing earrings, and you don't see the 666 symbology in the middle, and it's well known. So you can't tell me it should. That symbol right there for 666 is used multiple forms and multiple ways in that nature.
Okay, so you think that's his intention?
Well, I already could tell
Well, he may not
this
even know
guy's
his intention.
talking the way he is. Say that again, True the Cop.
I was
See,
saying this guy might not even know his own intentions when he picks a symbol like that.
actually, he's very. If I encourage you, look into him. He's very well studied. He's very
We have.
open
He's a
about
pogo.
what he
He's
has
a fucking
studied.
pogo.
See,
He's a
Snafu,
pogo.
But that's what he
right?
said about everyone.
That's
Literally
what you
everyone.
said about me and
Again,
Paul.
why does the man have 666 on his intro?
Hey, listen to the message.
And Snafu, let's not get distracted by the message of love today. I
Well,
do understand your point there. It is an important mark. I mean, it is very much a 6. It looks like, not a 9.
it's.
I don't know.
How do you
Could be an
even
8
see
too.
a number? It's
Well, it's 2 6s at least. I don't see the third one.
Signs of movement and motion. It's
an eye in a cyclone. But that's
whatever.
gonna trigger him too.
I mean, if we take it a step further, it's the pedo logo. If we go too far, you know,
Right.
start talking about spirals and stuff.
No, that's a different logo.
Well, here, this is the thing. This whole world is nothing more than experiences, changes. Everything we identify it's a sign or a symbol. I mean, in my past, I thought black people meant something different, right? I thought there was something totally different than black people and me, because it meant things in my head. But signs and symbols, every one of us is perceiving what we see through our own veil of memories, our own veil of education. There's words in the scripture. You can see God in all things. You can also find flaws and problems with anything.
I mean, before we go back to video, let's follow Officer Snatch's logic, Drew. So last week, Officer Snatch said Paul was a pogo, a pedo pogo, and this week he says Jack should marry him. So there you go. So
Snafu's a good guy, but his mind is so dang confused.
Listen, for once, Snafu finally has good advice, I think, today. He's on a love mission today, I believe.
Well, we're all here for a reason. Here, today the purpose is love. And he was talking about love is the law. You know, in the beginning was the law, and the law was God. God is the law. The universal law is love. Whoops.
Our actions rather than us following it. What if it just, you know what I mean? We would be screwed. Thank God the law of one is immutable and unchangeable. It never can be changed, unbalanced, violated in any way. Any attempt we make to violate the law of one, whether we know it or not, just comes back around to us, and we end up getting violated ourselves to the exact same measure we tried to violate someone else. This is because God is law, as the Essenes taught and espoused, right? In the beginning was the law, and the law was God, and the law was with God, and the law became flesh and dwelled among us.
See, but in some translations, that's
Jesus,
the word. The word became flesh, right? That's our thoughts, action, our attentions becoming our actions and stuff, right?
Is there a difference?
Well,
Law and word.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying for clarity's sake, I think most people would understand word more.
And that's probably why they went with it. I think he intentionally, well, I don't know. I don't assume.
I think he picked
why.
that translation because it fits with his whole, this is God's law. He wants to prove this is God's law rather than, he's kind of bending a little.
Sense. It makes sense though, because the true commandment and actions of the Christ were love.
But love delivered to without wisdom, you're just going to fall flat on your face, man. You need to get to the truth. You need to be discerning, because there are
Right.
people that don't live by the law of love.
Right. And that's why we're here, is to lead those who don't live by the law of love. We're here to be the example.
But
And
see, like in the kind of get what Snafu might be pointing to here, they're kind of taking the teeth out of the word of God. Like, we have to be like, we are warriors, dude. We are warriors of the spirit. That's what we're meant to be.
that's what the
We're,
religion's taught.
no,
there's a
dude, we are at war, Jack. Make no mistake about it. Do you not see what we're surrounded by? We are in a spiritual war. It's not like a lighthearted thing. It's real.
And so what is, well, truther, you can, that's a game we can believe. Or if we align with God, we are the solution. And there is no war in my life. Not anymore. I ended the battles within myself, and I'm working to end the battle of, well, I can't give up. I cannot stop, and I can't ignore what I've learned. So, truther, there is a battle here on earth. The spiritual battle, it's through our minds. And right now, if we don't pay attention, all of the answers are coming together. This is the time where the truth is becoming more important. And people are realizing, and there's a spiritual happening as well, too. People are turning to the spirit of life. And this is what my experience taught me, because whether we recognize it or not, we are walking with a spirit of energy that's with us moment by moment. These energies are shown through our behavior, our attitude, our emotions are what move us. But we were born into a world where, it's being perfectly unfolded. The world has been perfectly unfolded and is perfectly unfolding. If we feel like we're in a world where we have to fight, we're going to create a lot of battles.
But we do have to fight. It's inevitable. Like, to wake up every day and be determined to do something, you get pushback from the world itself and all the opinions you think you might receive by doing something. So you have to fight through that. That's the spiritual war, dude. And you have to have a warrior mindset about that shit.
We get to push through the hard. We get to take on the dark. And truther, I swear, man, people are making fun of the words I say, but God is with us. The God who I know, the God who I serve, is the source and the giver of wisdom. It's the one that reveals all truth. And I align myself with that.
Right. And then he gives us tools that we can use and advance and hone in and sharpen our skills. But we have to put in the work to do that. And then we get to learn how to live with God deeper by utilizing those tools.
And this is what Aaron is teaching. What Aaron is teaching is what I found in my own experience. See, and again, my experience is a little bit different than others, but it's still just the same. I found the Holy Spirit before I found religion. But when I finally did turn to the Bible, after putting it off and finding excuses not to, the Bible, especially the words of Jesus, they were explaining what I was experiencing. So there's evidence. Oh, with what you were saying, Truther Cop, I don't deny, I'm not saying anything you're saying is wrong, okay? And I don't deny that that is true. We do need to fight. There's a lot of evil. There's a lot of real battles being lived right now. I've humbled myself and been shown clearly. My strength comes from God. My strength comes from the Holy Spirit. It is the Holy Spirit that shows me if I'm willing to keep going or if I'm not. The Holy Spirit is no joke. Neither is what's happening in the world.
For sure, but we get to determine that we can push ourselves further. And the more we decide to push ourselves, the further we can go. But we have to decide through that pushback of whatever. Again, it's always seems to be like embarrassment or shame that kind of limits us somehow and what we could achieve. I don't know. Seems to be my biggest thing.
Well, the world has conditioned our egos, the belief in the being, but it loses sight of the spirit and the spiritual aspect of life and the true spirit of you or me. The true spirit of us is our energies, right? Our emotions, and that drives our mind and our ideas. And so each of us has a different perspective, moment by moment. We each have love and wisdom we can give, we can share, or we can also grow in our wisdom and our love. The
I finally
path,
realized why Hank's smiling all the time. He's reading the Discord or something, laughing about us. That's what's going on.
Now it's reading the live chat, actually.
Oh, okay. I knew you were reading something. Some kind of information you were getting about us.
Yep.
Excuse me. Yeah, some of the narratives about Jack. Here, I admitted, for those who tuned in yesterday, I know what I said and I know how it can sound. So I admit it. Maybe that wasn't the best choice. But then also in reviewing the stream, how absolutely prideful and arrogant Chuck is to go from being in the chat, making assumptions and accusations about me and my character. Chuck was saying, "Oh yeah, Jack's on drugs. He's high." And then he joins and doesn't say anything about it, acts like he's there for me somehow. Holy cows. So that's what I mean. I'm always excited to kind of open the link too and see who's going to do what today.
Well, speaking of which, let's not overlook this. I mean, the proposal today, dude.
That's a joke. And
It is
what
not,
is
Jack. It's offensive that you'd
hey,
even say that. We're trying to create love and peace and harmony.
no.
And
Bullshit.
why not, Jack? Why not? It's all love, brother.
It's
all
a
love.
large.
It's
a
all love. No,
large.
it's love. It's love.
What are you doing?
I'm telling you, it's love. What
Right.
reason do you have for not marrying Paul?
You're trying to gaslight and you're not
No.
actually
I want to see you
to
guys
have
get
a
off the internet, get
conversation.
married together, go start a family. Be cute.
Do you have any care about what I want?
I do, Jack. I want to know what your reason for not marrying Paul is.
I'd prefer to meet someone who takes me seriously. So far, Paul has shown he doesn't, just like you're doing.
Well,
and just
I don't
like
take
Hank
myself
is
seriously half
doing,
the time,
too.
so.
Oh, I don't take you seriously because I'm not taking Paul's proposal seriously. Then just go marry him. Then I don't understand. I don't take Paul's
Whatever,
proposal
dude.
seriously.
I'm out of here. I can't believe you'd refuse this love offer. Good talking to you, Jack. The Dabbleverse awaits.
I don't understand. Let's make this clear. I'm not taking you seriously because I'm taking Paul's non-serious proposal non-seriously.
No. Those are both accurate, but irrelevant conclusions. I mean, I don't.
Okay, then I actually don't understand what behavior you want me to do. Do you want me to just leave? Because that's probably, I could do that. That's easy.
You can do what you want, Hank.
Yeah, because I don't understand how you got offended at my behavior. Please explain.
I didn't get offended, but it's clear you're when you're here, you drift off and you engage in chat, and then you think you're understanding. But Hank,
No, I never said that. I said that you're you're incomprehensible.
I think if anyone wanted to understand me, they can. I think many people do understand me.
All right. Name 3 people who understand you right now.
Why? You don't believe me?
Affirmative. I don't believe you. So name
That's
3
your
people.
Hey, Jack,
problem.
I wanted to let you know it wasn't a joke. I told
I don't
Paul straight
care.
up if he went all.
I don't care. I haven't even addressed. This is an irrelevant stunt. I get it. There's comical value in it. Hey, let's do this, Jack, and I'll take advantage of you. Then just like Snafu said, or like they said, so they can take from Jack. Bunch of fucking leeches.
Okay. So I need to understand. It's my problem. I don't believe something that's not that I can't convince myself is factual. Is that what you mean? You said there's plenty of people who understand you. I don't know who they are, and you can't tell me who they are. So how am I supposed to know? Should I just make them up myself? Should I just?
Why do you doubt me and make me place that expectation? I wasn't realizing that by simply offering that there is evidence of people who do understand me. I didn't realize I'd have to bring forth the evidence at this moment, Hank.
Okay.
So
I can get the evidence later, but I would like to see the evidence rather than just take your word for it. Is that a problem with you?
Okay.
Should I just take your word for it?
Well,
Hank,
instead? So your claim is that there are no people who understand me.
By your standard of understanding that you're using in this context, yes.
I'd prefer. Is there a way to move past this?
But well, I can just pretend that what you said is factual. But if someone challenged me to do it, I wouldn't be able to present the evidence. So I don't want to be put in that position.
How about if you were actually paying attention to me instead of just sitting here and, like others have said, Hank, you're self-serving, but you're not really, I don't know what you're doing besides seeking attention and trying to understand what.
Well, I'm sending you money, Jack. I'm also sending you money.
Hank,
so that's something else that I'm doing other than seeking attention.
I know, Hank. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry for overlooking. You've been very generous, very loyal. I don't deny that, Hank.
Okay.
What I do say is that you're missing, you haven't seen the true opportunities that are with me. You're here, but somehow we're not on the same page. And the page I'm looking for other people, I thought I found like-minded people with Veterans for Peace. I thought I found like-minded people with the International Workers of the World, the IWW. I thought I had found like-minded people with my old union, the American Postal Workers Union. I thought I found like-minded people a lot of times in my past. Hank, we're not that different. What is happening on Earth? Yes. No one's ever ended wars before. No one's ever done that. It's time for the world to transform. And it's in my heart, Hank, that I truly believe if we, not just Jack, but if we open up doors, you know what? It's all coming together. You don't have to do anything, Hank. I just remembered everything is unfolding perfectly. It is. I already see many ways it's going to it will grow. So you don't have to believe me, Hank. You really don't. But I wish you would.
Hey, Jack, I kind of agree with Hank here, and I usually give Hank a lot of shit. Can you name 3 people?
I don't need to. I'm going to get back to the topic. You're welcome to stay or go, Hank. It's up to you.
I want to at least get 5 minutes into the video.
Other than us following it, what if it just, you know what I mean? We would be screwed. Thank God the law of one is immutable and unchangeable. It never can be changed, unbalanced, violated in any way. Any attempt we make to violate the law of one, whether we know it or not, just comes back around to us, and we end up getting violated ourselves to the exact same measure we tried to violate someone else. This is because God is law, as the Essenes taught and espoused, right? In the beginning was the law, and the law was God, and the law was with God, and the law became flesh and dwelt among us. Seeing this picture of Jesus, who they called the true prophet, the Jewish Christians called Jesus the true prophet. Why? Because Jesus came to teach, share, and demonstrate what the true fulfillment of God's law looks like. Jesus was the embodiment of fulfilling God's law. This is what it looks like to walk in alignment with the law of God. It looks like Jesus. And so
I used to believe that was impossible because I bought into the nonsense the religions had taught that only Jesus could be perfect. The whole purpose is we align and embody his way of being. And I think if more people embody the way of being like Christ, there will be more people supporting the efforts to end wars, supporting what the International Peace Coalition is doing, what Veterans for Peace are doing, what Code Pink is doing, what the Poor People's Campaign is doing, what all of these people are doing to help bring some justice to the world. If more people today start embodying what Jesus showed, our world's going to change very quickly.
So the law of one and the one infinite creator are not two separate things. And we got to get this, you guys. It's not as if, God exists and then God also created some laws that, God made them up. And then God is always, enacting these laws on the universe. No. That's duality, isn't it? God's law is based upon God's nature. Just like I've used this example before, but I'm a human body right now. This is a human body. What are the laws that govern my human body? Did my body make up those laws and then is it always enacting them? No. The laws my body functions upon is based upon my body itself. The laws of my body and my body are one. Yes? This should be simple. So God's law is based upon God's nature. God's law reveals the true nature of who God is, which is perfect love. But when we violate love, there are always consequences. And this is what we have to realize. Because realizing this helps us to see that it's to our own best interest to be loving and to be of service to others and to give love and to never do harm to somebody. You guys, you can't fulfill or obey or follow God's law, the law of one, if you don't see and understand clearly why it is absolutely to your best interest to do so. It'd be like, moving to a new country and you don't understand the laws there and you start doing stuff that's perfectly acceptable in your country, but in this new country whose laws you don't know yet, these are actually considered illegal. And
the law is love. That's how humans are supposed to be. I know the stories of the Bible. They have so much wisdom. There's many perspectives and layers of the truth in the biblical stories. And there's a reason it was passed down to us, but it is not the only source. These religions that have developed, they're a test. Everything in life is a test for us, brothers and sisters. And the way of the satanic, the way of the darkness, it's all about the self. Well, we're not going to give in to temptation. We're not going to give in to these beastly efforts to control each other if we realize, I am you. I hope to serve you a better day. I hope to serve you with that which brings you more joy, more peace, more comfort. That's really why we're here. It's kind of that simple. But there's something mystical and magical about life that's been overlooked, particularly in the mainstream Western society. But I believe the stories of the past are true. We're at a time of human history and development where it's time. What are we going to do? I believe the light has already defeated the darkness. I believe that the world is ready for reforms. And the reforms every single one of us want. Love requires no excuse, right? And no excuse is worthy of love. If we don't blame each other, if we don't judge each other as different or difficult, that's been a downfall of me. Hank, thank you.
Yep.
You are a good man, and you are very wise, despite some of the stupid chats.
Yeah, but I would think of this deeper. Didn't Jesus kind of... Yeah, Jesus himself kind of wasn't all love. He followed God's law, not Caesar's law. He beat the money changers out of the temples. He told people to leave their parents if they didn't follow him. He told people to sell their cloak for a sword. So I don't know, because even if I go strict Bible, I guess Jesus will just ignore passivism for activism when it makes sense to him. So I'm kind of confused.
I'm not sure I'd come to the same conclusion. The story where he did, well, one of the thoughts. Clearly, when I get angry, when I, engage and drop down, that's clearly an excuse for people to disbelieve me. No, you're unrighteous, Jack, because you yell, you swear. Well, as Jesus said, there's other people who do better than me. I've seen other people who get less angry than what Jesus was recorded to do, but I don't see them all the time either. So in the story where Jesus goes into the temple and he is righteously angry at the corruption and all of the money trade there in the temple, the house of God, the place that was built for God. Now, this body, your body, my body, is the temple of God. When the Spirit of Christ comes in and finds how we've sold ourselves short, where we might have taken advantage of others, that Spirit of Christ, that true judgment, it'll kick us in the it'll bring us to our knees with guilt and shame, with the realization of what we have done. The power of God, the power of Christ is true. It doesn't give any of us excuses not to behave like Some have. Welcome back, Snafu.
And booted me out because you didn't want to answer it. Right? That's what happened just now.
You're gonna tell
I asked you a
yourself-
valid question. No, I asked you a valid question that even your co-host here asked you. You didn't really, you kind of skidded by his question. So another person came up and said, you made these claims, Jack, on the show. That's a very simple question. I'm not yelling, I'm not cussing, I'm not screaming. I said, can you name 3 people? And you got angry and you booted me. Why would we even care what you like? Do you understand what you just did and showed the world just now? That's anger, Jack. That's anger. That's not love.
Right. You've been a test for me. There's no
right. And I
denying
asked
that.
you very nicely. I said, I agree with your co-host, Hank, here, and I never agree with him. So that's why I was being cupcakey. And I said, yeah, could you answer that question? Name 3 people. You got angry, not loving.
Snafu.
You're getting angry now.
No,
that's not love.
I'm trying to get you to stop talking so I can have a chance to speak at what you keep looping on.
There's not a loop. This happened today. We haven't had this conversation ever. When Hank said name 3 people and you skidded him, I came up to see if you would re-clarify.
Oh, wait. Don't loop, but what did Hank say?
He asked you the name 3 people and you wouldn't answer it. So I was like, I wonder if that's just
But you didn't loop. You didn't loop in repeating
no, I'm not looping because I'm asking now.
Right.
Why is it a loop? Why is it just you can't name 3? You don't want to name 3?
Snafu, what I'm pointing out to you is you've been looping with the question and you haven't given me a chance to answer. So please
I'm sorry.
pause,
Go ahead and answer. Go ahead.
Breathe.
Sorry.
You're not going to you may not. I don't want to assume. You may not like the answer though. But especially given your relationship with me, I don't know that I feel comfortable bringing up 3 people who might be allied or friendly with me because this isn't their battle.
That's more of a fair statement. Like you instead of getting angry and backstaging me, why didn't you do that from the get-go? Why did the love not happen right here where you showed loving?
I have more, please. The other part of it is I'm not sure why I even need to entertain that.
Well, you brought it up. Out of your mouth during your.
Oh yeah.
And I do got one other question though. Can we get off this subject? So I want to make sure, just so I make sure what you said today. You said that until recently, now you believe that Jesus wasn't the only that there's other perfect beings out there, perfect beings other than Jesus, because that's what you said. Like or can you reword how you said that? Because earlier on the stream you said, I always thought Jesus was the only one to be perfect. Who else is perfect?
I remember saying that.
Yeah, I can show you the timestamp on the thing.
I don't.
It was when he started talking about.
Do you want to know?
No, you gotta listen to what you say, Jack. You said Jesus. You said if we rewind it, you.
I'm gonna take a break from that, and Chuck, you're gonna take a break from this channel. You can leave the chat. Constantly disagreeing, constantly insulting me. I've never done anything to Snafu to deserve the interrogation. And Hank, I don't know what you think I've done to deserve your doubts.
Oh, so here's the thing. I don't believe everything by default. I do believe most things by default, unless there's other stuff in the universe that contradicts it. But yeah, I don't believe absolutely everything's by default. So that's why I doubt. It's just my normal mode of operation. If you want someone who just doesn't doubt anything you say, then I'm not your guy. But I think wars are dumb. I think we should end wars. So
Well, see, and this is where I'm hopeful we can get past the whatever gap there is, because we're on the same page. The I lost track. Sorry, just a moment. Or feel free if you've got something. The doubts. The doubts. Hank, you're free to do anything you want. Mm-hmm. Of course. I consider that it's possible God is using me to test others. Not so much to test, but so they can learn about their strengths and overcome some of their weaknesses, some of their doubts. A lack of trust, a lack of doubts in other people. It's healthy to have, but it's wise to know when. And with me, Hank, I'm telling you, there's something unique and powerful happening in my life. If you can understand and believe it's possible, I know I'm not alone. I know with support, I could actually, you know what? I've been saying I want to get before Congress. Aaron explains unity and consciousness, the messages of Jesus, better than I do. So maybe we can just work together to get his attention and inspire him to get in front of Congress. I've tried reaching out to him myself, and I think it was our poll. Thank you. Sharing, inviting others to notice Jack. I truly appreciate the support, man.
I know what we could do. We could see who already went in front of Congress and see if there's anyone who actually already presented a message similar to the one we presented to see if that even works. I mean, that'll take a while to go through the C-SPAN records, but I think at least we should start there, because if they went there the first time, maybe we can give them a couple notes and send them back.
That's one way to do it. Sometimes we don't need all the details. Sometimes we don't need evidence of practicality. I mean, the way I see it, human lives are at stake. Billions of dollars are we're going through one of the greatest periods of wealth transfer from the working class to the owning class. We're experiencing a lot of things here on Earth right now. There's true evil being perpetrated by our governments, not just the American government, but by other governments. So the evidence is clear. War is not good for anyone. So the problem is overcoming excuses. That's where I want to get in front of the men and women of the U.S. Congress, since, as I understand the systems that they control the purse strings, which means that they have the power. And it's true, Congress, by the power of their pen, brought into existence the Federal Reserve banking schemes into America. And behind all these wars is the selfishness and greed of the devil.
Okay. Here's the thing. I think we have a little disagreement, I guess, on fundamentals. I think you can have love and anger at the same time. I don't think there's an incompatibility between that. I'm not sure you think that love and anger is compatible. So you always, when you get angry, you try to pull yourself back from it instead of going all the way through with it because you think it's incompatible with love.
Well, it's been my anger in my past that has been the excuse for people to disrespect me today. I mean, I It was anger that was used as an excuse against me with my son, with my employment, with my neighbors. Rumors of anger, and, imaginations run wild when someone's showing emotion. Oh my God, there must be something wrong with them. Lock them up. Hank, I understand, I think, where you were going. Anger and love. Anger is it's driven by love, whether we're aware of it or not. The anger is particularly when it's righteous. You see or know of a child being harmed or endangered. Righteous anger moves us, but it is love that really is. Love is the power. It is through love that we can understand each other better, because it's through love that we speak and we communicate from the heart. And when we listen from the heart, that's where we connect together. When mankind realizes our connection, well, there will be no time or space on earth for evil and corruption to continue, because we won't allow it. We'll care more about each other than what the corporations or regulations might say. I mean, let's remember, I just saw something today about the hurricane recovery. We still got a lot of men and women all around this world. There are millions and millions and millions of men and women who have been evacuated or moved out of their homelands and their homes. We're living at a time where we have the opportunity to transform everything. And that's what I really feel is happening. The world is transforming. The world is changing. There are many, many people waking up, and, well, God's revealing the story of our lives.
But do you think Jesus never felt angry in his life? Because I don't.
No, I'm sure he did. It's, as it said, he wept. He felt emotions. He processed everything. He allowed himself, well, God allowed mankind, and he chose to live the life he did. But as it was said, he was perfected in love. And not only was he perfected in love, his words were perfectly true. And when each of us align with the Holy Spirit, we allow love to be what moves us, which kind of responds to what Truther Cop was pointing at. The fact that life can be a battle, it can be a war, and you got to push yourself sometimes. But this is what I learned from coaching, from the different coaching styles, right? You can take the masculine approach, and both these ways work. They both work, proven. You take the masculine way, you get clarity first on the goal and the objective, and then you outline some steps, and you devote yourself, you commit yourself. And so goals and achievement are one path. The other path that I actually enjoy more, it's desire, dreams, and fulfillment. Instead of goals and achievement, dreams and fulfillment. It's the feminine aspects of the same thing. There's a beauty in the feminine that's been overlooked in mankind. In the feminine aspect of the spirit, what I'm pointing to is the spirit, the inspiration, the power. The power of God is with us. And each day, Aaron goes in. I encourage people, if you find interest, I encourage you to check out the video in the description with Aaron. I do believe he's a very gifted teacher. He's a man who his messages are love. That is truly what Jesus was teaching. And if you take the fundamentals of the Christian doctrine, well, Jesus was the embodiment of God. It says in the Bible too, the Holy Spirit is God.
In fact, it says in the Bible, some other place, that everyone is God. God's everything. So
that's what I've humbled myself to consider. Spend time considering what God. I know God is everything. Everything. Because the only things I know is through my mind, my memory, my imagination. So everything is through consciousness. It's through consciousness that we find awareness of change, and change is time. So through consciousness and time, those two are connected. Without consciousness, we would know of no time. And, you know, if there was no change, maybe we'd have the perspective of God. What I've been learning, it's what many of the devotees from the past, this might be where snafu jumped to conclusions. Jesus was the example. He was the teacher. But there's many ways to discover love and God, because God's laws are written in our hearts. Love is truly who we are. The only thing that denies us from being giving or forgiving or generous is our thoughts. And the world taught us to believe we're all divided. We're all of sinful nature, can't trust anyone. And then we meet people who really we shouldn't trust. But Hank, what if the path is here? All we got to do is find out how to get these ideas into the minds of the people in Congress. Regardless of their excuses, wars can end. And I see a future where it's very possible this could be God's plan for us, that America will change its ways and bring the reforms, and the true leadership of Christ will rise and lead the rest of the world to follow suit. And through the actions of what we could achieve here in America, maybe we can truly help some of those people in North Korea under the police and oppressive surveillance state of China. If America doesn't wake up, we're heading that direction. Social credit scores, fiat currency controlling everything even more. Hey,
yeah, this is why I advocate for ignoring the laws of Caesar when they make no sense. Just like Jesus.
I want to follow what the Apostle Paul kind of was doing. I want to appeal to Caesar. In the land of the U.S., I want to talk to the bosses of the corporation. And Muddy Waters, I appreciate the idea. I've considered, well, when I was one of the, I've considered many things, including long ago selling the house, getting an RV, or a van and just heading there to walk the halls of Congress until I got someone's attention. But then I started thinking about it more. If I did all of that myself, where's the evidence of God? It would be contrary to the messages of what I believe God is revealing for us at this time. The power of uniting. Uniting together, we will overcome the corruption of the government systems and the banking systems. And Hank, I feel we've got the answers. We've got the talent. We've got the people who have the wisdom. I know I've got the balls. So let's have conversations with the people who allegedly represent the 50 states of America and raise the standards. They can rewrite the rules. That's what leaders do. Those who obey, they're stuck to the rules of others. And I just watched something again. For those Trump supporters, you better wake up. And you know what? Everybody better wake up. Because the agenda of that Heritage Foundation, they've been working quite a while. And that stuff is not good for the average man and woman. There's real manipulation. There is real life corruption happening in this world.
So, do you understand incentives, Jack?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, maybe Congress isn't open to ending the wars because they get their IRAs and health accounts and investment accounts from Raytheon and Boeing and other defense companies. So we may have to just go hit them from upstream instead and just make sure the next set of Congress people really isn't on the payroll of the big military people.
Well, what I'm talking about, in the bigger scope of things, true leaders, they know how to negotiate. I understand how to negotiate. I understand how to present the benefits of what I'm suggesting beyond just the selfish rewards that those lobbyists are sharing. And what I'm talking about is the practice of forgiveness, inviting those holding debts, holding thoughts of revenge and punishment, working together to help forgiveness be achieved so that the world is not wage slaves. That's what's happening.
Yes. So I also know how to negotiate. I read Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference. And part of the negotiation process is coming in with your opening offer so you can get in the door and even having the discussion. But you've been asking for help with that for I don't know how many years. So maybe the strategy's a not workable one till we at least find some way to build up to being able to get in the door.
Well, I've been preparing and I've been improving. I thought I was prepared and able to communicate clearly years ago, but clearly I had to practice and grow over my anger so that I could communicate it without so much emotion. And so I think the past several years, like I said, have been preparation for me. Everything is happening with God. It's God's timing, God's plan, God's purpose. I'm just trying to find a way. What does God want? I believe. Oh, regarding what it would take to get their attention. This is also in the bigger picture of why I'm seeking others to join me. That's how we create those introductions. Yeah, whether I am or am not skilled at negotiation, if I can't even get a foot in the door, well, there's no value. And I haven't been able to get a foot in the door for quite a while. But the past is the past.
So pretty much, our options were either join someone else who's found a way to get through the security line, or we had to do some research to figure out who done it, how they done, and what resources they need to gather first to get in there.
I'd love to find people who want to support the ideas. You know, through the Veterans of Peace, again, I'm still trying to get their attention. Through them, they have people, delegates who meet and talk to people regarding the UN. There's ways in, people who I know in the past. I've mentioned that. They know people. And here, I figured this out a long time ago. It's going to be God's story. I'm just trying to figure out what is God's plan. What is God's story for me? I do what I think is exciting and might be helpful. But I humbled myself a long time ago. Going within, there's no evidence, no calling for me to leave the house or Spokane. There's been no real signs. I've sought, I've prayed, I've looked. There's even the deal with Washington, D.C. If we can get people on board with the idea that these conversations are at least worthy of time of some people in Congress, we can have video conferences. God, whether anyone approves or agrees with me or not, in my heart, my purpose has been to help the world improve everywhere I go. And so for several years now, every single day, despite my failures, some successes, many failures, I get to go to bed every night with the knowing that I spent the day trying to make a better world. And if God would allow wars to end, well, praise God, I want to be a part of that. And we don't know if we can succeed if we don't try. We know we can't succeed if we do not try. Maybe
we should take it with God. Say, hey, God, if we don't give us some leadway, we may withhold our prayers. How about that? We'll go to God directly.
Well, I've been following the Holy Spirit, being honest, being of as clear mind as I can. The way of my life has unfolded the way that it has. Muddy Waters, I'm not ignoring, I'm not pretending anything, actually. I'm choosing not to acknowledge the nonsense. I mean, Paul's just down there to belittle me so he feels better, or make himself look better so I look worse. Whatever it is, he's in these stupid games. And Paul, if you don't wake up, you're going to be blocked again. And I'm done.
Yeah, let's be honest. Paul's claiming to offer a plane ticket when he couldn't even donate $20 a month ago. Cut the crap. Cut the BS. Come on, buddy.
No, he could have. He could have donated. He could buy a ticket. He wants to play his stupid games, and he's not paying attention. I mean, and this is, Hank, no offense, too. Eventually, when people jump on board with Jack and we start making some progress, which is happening, there's things happening. The people who've just been hanging out with me, eventually they might be asked, what was going on? And those who have been opposing me specifically, I have a feeling they'll be asked, what was going on?
Yeah, Hank, I don't understand. Why are you projecting and lying? You know I can get whatever Jack needs by tonight, just like I did for Wizard the Slave, to be unthankful and ungrateful and lie.
You could
Right,
do
I
a
don't
lot,
because you're not going to do anything with it.
No, you're selfish. You're a man filled with excuses and bitterness. Paul, until you recognize how selfish you are, you're not going to be grateful for those who really do give. And it blows my mind. Hank, what I was saying earlier, I have a feeling that people will learn lessons through me. The lesson I had to learn repeatedly, I had to learn how to admit when I was wrong. See, Snafu and Paulie Boy, they're very good at deflecting and over speaking, playing these egoic power games. Paul, you've been wrong. Yeah, dude. I'm willing to discuss, but not argue.
Jack, we know how your discussion goes. I'm an idiot for even being here. That's what makes it so funny.
The fact
We all
that
know
you
how your
think-
discussions go.
Hey, Paul, you don't know.
Can you name one person who agrees with you who you have a lot?
Go away, Snafu. Paul, you are just like Snafu. Notice the patterns. Holy cows, man. It saddens me, Hank.
I know, but I want to go ahead and close this loop. So I'm going to go ahead and close this loop. So you got angry at me for holding the sign for pointing, pretty much calling a spade a spade. I saw the pattern. It's so predictable that I had a sign ready for it, and you got angry at me for pointing out the spade. So I want to get the brass tacks. What was the issue? For me calling the spade a spade, what were you feeling at the time? I want to know about your feelings. That's what I want to know about.
Thank you, Hank. From my perception of the ego is the selfish part. It finds joy in defining and labeling, and it finds joy in distraction and chaos. There's nothing wrong. You were very astute. You identified the patterns accurately. And thank you for doing so. I'd much rather than just identify it and name it, I'd really rather, my hope is to find a way for Snafu to reevaluate himself, for Paul to reevaluate himself. But everyone wants to prove that I'm wrong. They can't change. So far, the world seems to want me to be wrong. Can you change, Snafu? I know you can.
Well, it depends on if I need to. I want to ask you a question because I have gone to United Nations meetings. I know that they're the enemy. They're the ones who are going to come fuck us up when martial law hits. But let me ask you this. If you can't even deal with us talking about subjects like when we just said name 3 names or 1 name.
Here's what you overlook, dummy. I don't have to entertain you. You weren't actually invited, so to say, and the behavior you're bringing is not welcome. So I don't open the live stream to be mocked and insulted and disrespected, despite the beliefs and the past patterns. I'm actually here with the intentions, just as I've said, to help create a better world.
All right, this is so simple to prove right now. You said to reevaluate myself based on you being the life coach. Could you point to something that is demonstrable, tangible, can be seen or felt by everyone that I'm missing out on, that I could benefit, as you just said, from your life coaching?
Humility and honesty are lacking from you.
Okay.
You can do a lot better
The only
job.
issue is that everyone in your life claims the same thing about you. So projection or just a coincidence?
Hey, Paul, do you want to be just like everyone else? I thought you were smarter.
No, the truth doesn't change no matter who's looking at it, see?
Well, and that's just it. Many fools jump to conclusions just like you did on day one.
Is it possible you were foolish when you jumped to a conclusion? You have answers for everybody but yourself?
That's an inaccurate statement. Why are you deflecting?
Okay, so can we point to something, not a claim, right? Can we point to something that I'm missing in my life that I would get that would become complete if I was to take your life coaching and advice?
If you were more honest, you would be more humble. And as you're more honest and more humble, you learn from those around you. And despite your appearances and your narrative about me, Paul, I've actually got quite a bit of wisdom. You've never really explored it because I'm always battling.
I'm exploring it now. What will I gain in my life or the afterlife if I take your advice that you have that I don't?
You'll never know unless you try.
So you don't have an answer. That's what I...
Go to God, Paul. What you would gain is a relationship with God instead of your false delusions. You could actually become a man of honor, and just instead of just calling yourself a man of honor, your behavior, Paul, your behavior is actually disrespectful and it's just unacceptable.
I could say the same thing about you.
Right, and you would because you want to argue. I'm not going to tell you what, Paul. I'm not going to play your games. Have a good afternoon. I'm done with you.
All right. So, I want to get back to your feelings. So, earlier today, you said you felt like there's no one that truly understood you. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, I think if people understood that I'm not joking, if they stop making me try and prove that I have some sort of value that they don't want to accept, here's who I am. I'm an honest man who's living a very interesting life. I'd be happy to reward anyone, and I don't know why I'd have to, but I'm a father trying to reunite with his son. I'm a man of God who's trying to connect with the local churches. I'm an active member of Veterans for Peace who wants to try and find a way to end wars. I got a lot of goals. I feel I have a lot of value to offer, but the panel verse has truly been, it's been a challenge, much more than rewards. I told you I'm done, Paul.
So, I feel you. I kind of had the same feeling about the panel verse, but I've been using it in the different. We're kind of oddballs. We kind of joined up together. We get a lot of opposition. I kind of use the panel verse as a way to practice facing opposers, because down this road we're going to face opposers with way more resources and can actually back up, can actually afford $20, actually give us a plane ticket. Those kind of people. This is training. This is a training ground, and it's a really tough one. So that's why I think of the panel verse. So I don't expect a. I used to think I would just run into people who understand me, but now I just said, well, I'll join up with the other oddballs. So.
Well, it depends on why we're joining up. I mean, I am looking to build community. I've met a lot of people online who claimed that's what they want, but then I'm always faced with, well, you got to do this, Jack, and you got to do that. And we don't really talk about what a community could do. And this is where, you know what? This is God's story. This is God's plans. It's all coming together. And I do see a day, there will be a day here very soon where I will have witnesses where I won't be interrogated for who actually trusts you, Jack? Who actually believes you? Because it will be self-evident. But the egos, the egos that are afraid, and, I just see this unhealed, egoic, juvenile nonsense here on YouTube. People self-sabotaging, and look how many people just want to, what, make me look bad? For what? Makes no sense.
For their power games. I understand where you come from. You want it to be self-evident, but wouldn't it be nice if you could say, "Well, this person endorsed me here. That person endorsed me on this and that. That person let me on this show to say this."
Yeah. I don't control what people offer to me.
Yeah. Well,
I don't control what people take from me.
Yeah.
I mean, to some degree.
I remember I hooked you up with Pine Creek that one time.
I know, Hank. I know. And I'm still trying to find anyone in Spokane. I know many people know Mr. Smith. He lives in Spokane. Old fatty dude. He lives not far from me, too. There's people who live near me.
Zach's in Spokane, isn't he?
Well, he's more on the other side of the state, but
okay, he's in Redmond.
He was kind enough, and we will. He and I are going to do something together soon. I look forward to it.
He said I think a couple of days ago he's getting busy this week. He could do an interview next week, and I strongly encourage you to go there. So.
Yes.
Plus, he messed with Jesse Howe a few times on that Missing Link Live. He made the connection directly, so you're talking to people.
I am, and not just online, but I'm reaching out to people in the community. I'm pursuing other opportunities, and I'm creating other opportunities, because when it's not just Jack, and I never envisioned it would be just Jack trying to live without fear and actually make a big difference in the world. I never thought it would be so difficult for me to convince people that I'm worthy of working with. Especially when I'm not asking for anything, not asking for money to be part of the investment, not asking for commitments. I'm just asking for conversations. And they're going to happen. I'm knocking on doors, and I will have conversations, despite the opinions of Paulie Boy and Snafu, without the approval of Margot and Chuck. Holy cows, man.
All right. You want to talk about maybe do some shout outs? There's a bunch of people who support you in the chat room. Pretty much all your mods. Maybe give them some shout outs. We can think about who does support you.
There's a number of people who support me. Our poll has been he's received backlash because, and that's the other thing. People who have supported me get ridiculed by idiots like that clown. Paul, I'm done with you. You're not worth anything to me, dude. And Snafu, go build your case against me somewhere else. I'm feeling maybe it's time to wrap up, Hank. My love is not really appreciated. No one really seems to give a shit about receiving what I'm offering. So,
before you go, I think you should just maybe shout out all your mods, because they've been helping you maintain the integrity of your show for a while. You should think about people who actually support you and come and watch you and can talk to you every day, rather than people who don't like you and detract from you. Maybe we think more about people who do support you and do come see you. You feel more connected.
I do.
Yeah, because you've been focusing on people who disagree with you so much. So let's maybe do some shout outs to your moderators before you go. If we can just read all their names and see who's all here in your corner.
There's many. There's many. I mean, I truly respect and I appreciate everyone who shows up. I really do. And there's many who have been. All of you guys been very supportive, including you, Hank, as well. I can't overlook you. Some of these narratives, where do you get this from? How am I asking for submission when I'm just asking, stop making me like a joke? How am I asking for submission other than I'm saying, wake up to what is real? You're bizarre, Julian. If you're who I'm thinking of, you're one of the culted ones for sure. And King Philip, you too, man. Unbelievable. Hank, I think I'm done, brother.
All right. See you later. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You just don't feel connected to anyone. So.
No, I'm connected to everything, but others don't seem to want the connection that I'm comfortable with. And here's the thing, though. I'm one with love. So thank you, Hank. Sincerely, I appreciate you. There's a reason. There's a reason these lights are shining together here. Brothers and sisters, I do want to thank all of you who are tuning in and found your way to these adventures. It's up to you. Every one of us gets to go through life and believe whatever we want. We can think what we want. We can say what we want. We can do what we want. I encourage you, find the time for yourself. This one, I found a lot of value. I find a lot of value in all of his stuff. The near-death experiences are interesting to me. I find those fascinating too. But the messages he shares in that video, it truly is. It's about works. How we treat each other matters. How we respect the truth matters. When we corrupt ourselves, we're running around accusing and belittling, taking advantage from people. All you're doing is destroying your own character. You're destroying your own character, Paul.
Absolutely, and that's what your results show in life. It's sad, and we want to change it, but you won't work with us to change it.
No, you won't.
There's the abuse. Show the real you. There's the abuse.
You've got an echo. I thought you were professional. Fix the echo.
You're right, Jack. You would expect more from a god of all media.
There's the abuse. Show the real you.
I don't know why I have an echo. Why do I have an echo?
Thank you.
Yeah, at some point, Jack, you're gonna have to run into reality and accept the results and life on life's terms. And
Paul.
Yeah,
Echo's still there. Tell you what. Since it seems to be the only way, you don't listen either way when you're on screen or off, but at least this way I don't have to deal with your echo. Paul, at some point, you will wake up and realize your all-knowing ego is not as all-knowing as you think. Paul, you have convinced yourself of lies, prioritized things, and made assumptions about me. You've disrespected me, Paul, as a man. But the thing is it's not disrespecting me. It took me a while to realize that. Paul, you're disrespecting yourself. When you're showing such disrespect and disregard for other men and women, this applies to everyone, me included. When we offer disrespect and despise and contempt, condemnation, wishing failure, predicting failures upon others, it's corrupting yourself. I know there's a lot of good men and women. Paul, I know you are a better man than you've chosen to be. I've seen you act with compassion and respect, but why you withhold those things from me, that's up to you. So, brothers and sisters, if I can offer anything to you today regarding the topic, the basics of love, we got some demonstrated. I do love and care for the beings who join me. Why? Because they're part of this life adventure that God has given me. You're a part of this life adventure that God has given me, even if we don't cross paths, even if you don't, or directly, even if we don't communicate directly. But for those who do want to connect, sincerely, this is our lifetime. This is a lifetime we have been given. We can live however we want. We can live with worry and fight and struggle and hate and judgment and division. Paul, none of that shit goes with you when you die. You're like a little child holding up the picture of my trophy, my precious fiat currency numbers on a screen. Paul, you value the wrong things. Hey, DeFreak, I was wrapping up, but welcome
yeah. Sorry, real quick. I just listened to Paul talking about how his obeying the law is basically him being the Messiah or something like that, and it's like you guys are like, I don't know how you don't see it, but it's the same Messiah complex. So I don't know why Paul is always getting off on like devaluing you or whatever, because he's doing the same. He's got Jack Talcott syndrome. It's amazing. So anyhow, I just wanted to point out that hypocrisy of Paul, and maybe he'll I don't know. That's all I got.
Hey, DeFreak, thank you. I think it was you I saw. You tried communicating with him yesterday, if I'm right. But here, I've said before, there's clearly similarities to me and Paul. There's similarities in a lot of ways. We're both doing the same thing, right? He's winning because he got money. That's the game he wants to play and tell everybody. Well, consider this. Our God, here, the basics of love, my love for God is true. It's undeniable. Okay. I can explain why I love God, how I love God. My love for God is way more than what is being offered to me. So the way I see it, our God, the one that created Jesus, sent him into the world. That Father sent all of us into the world at this time. And similar to the story of Jesus, well, I've said, without people willing to investigate why I say it, I've said my life has many similarities to that of Jesus. My goal is to be a messenger like him. I'm not perfect. I'm not claiming to be perfect. I'm following his example. Well, Mr. Paulie Boy is like the story of Barabbas and Jesus. Who's the crowd choosing? Who's the crowd supporting? The violent one who's want to be real righteous and defiant and, insult all those, whatever, all the names he says. Right. Which one of us is selfish between Paul and I? I've lived a life of service and dedication. I have given my life. My entire life has been for others. I understand teamwork. I understand leadership. I'm devoted to God. I've given. It's not all about money. Paul, you want to keep thinking I'm losing and you're winning? You're a fool, dude. I'm just getting started.
Jack, if I could, a lot of the things you say are based and they are derived from the spirit realm, from the spiritual aspect of things. And so when they're taken at face value, they're not really received by people who don't have the Holy Spirit yet. And it comes off as kind of strange. I don't know how else to say it, but it doesn't receive as well as what Paul is saying, because he is a practical man. He makes a lot of sense. He's logically sound,
Mm-hmm.
So
I know.
Yeah.
And that's why I say when he's talking about the principles and what's true, he's very gifted. The problem is I never get to have those conversations around him because he's got to play this fucking asshat clown all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it. So
I hear you.
the thing is what Paul and I are saying is actually the same things. The difference, though, I give credit to God. I say I'm following Christ. Paul has literally said he's the Christed one. He's deceived many into believing that it's okay to be insulting and disrespectful to Jack. That's just one example of how Paul's been misleading people.
He does that to everyone, to be fair.
Right. I think he should change. I think his behavior's it's unhealthy.
I would say so, but he's got a little troll in him. I understand that.
He's got a lot of troll. He's got some growing up.
Troll in him, yeah. But
where's the troll?
He's being hypocritical lately, because he talks about obeying the law, but yet he's kind of the rebel against the law. He talks about,
again, you can't even conceive of what I'm putting forth, that man's codes are not the law of the universe or God. What don't you get about that, freaktard?
Right.
You keep conflating. You keep making false judgments. You keep lying indirectly because you either can't discern or you're disingenuous. So we can take it from the top if you need help. I never said I was the Christed being as far as the... Hello.
And then you say that
hello. I never said I was the... Hello. I never said I was the Messiah. Hello. Hello. I never said I was the Messiah. I said the Savior is the truth, life, and way. The same thing the Christed being in Scripture claimed. Adherence and application.
See, that's
you've always got your defense, Paul, but you need to learn to accept accountability for what you say. Your narratives are not flawless. You're very disrespectful and arrogant, and you have spoken ill against many things that you do not have the jurisdiction nor righteousness to disrespect, Paul.
I'll quote Jackie Fox's email, since the folks in the chat have no discernment. I'm not as nice.
She's not here. And if you're going to opinions, Paul, you're out of your mind, dude, with arrogance. Although, DeFreak, I'm curious. You're not one who was saying Donald Trump, are you?
What are you talking about? I'm on the Trump train. I mean, I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what that has anything to do with it.
You want to criticize Paul? You're out of your fucking mind too, DeFreak.
How do you figure?
You think Donald Trump is a good choice?
Yeah, I think he's good for America. I think he's good for ending the wars. And I think that he can get the third temple built.
Dude, you've bought into lies.
How you figure?
You're in denial. You're in denial about what he says and what is happening.
Like what, Jack?
These systems are so corrupt. Okay. Donald Trump is evidence of the American way, all right. He's prideful, he's arrogant, he's a selfish liar. He has no concept of leadership. He's an obedient boss, and he's been advised by a bunch of obedient bosses. And when Donald Trump gets elected, which it's looking that way, unless we want different, unless we want better, when Donald Trump gets elected, the Heritage Foundation, all these corporate conglomerates are right there. He's there to serve the oligarchy, and people buy into his bullshit.
Jack, you've got the guy is being attacked by every single part of the system, trying to hold him back, trying to hold him down.
The freak, that's lies. He's playing victim, and this is the American way again. Victims and perpetrators, not leaders, not true Christed beings. The message of Christ was righteousness, not bullying, not manipulation, not prophets. The freak, this entire government system is corrupt, and I'm sorry, man. If
I understand that.
Donald Trump,
listen, we finally had the sociopath, egomaniac that everyone else was afraid of as the leader of our country. It was great. He kept that oil in Syria that would have paid for our grandkids' future. So he was doing good for us.
No, you're buying lies. Okay,
and you say an obedient boss. How are you a boss and obedient? Obedient to who?
To the rules.
To the rules.
He follows the rules of others. A leader, and God has given us the gifts, the minds to discern and to choose. That's all a leader is, one who makes choices, accepts responsibility, and directs. Donald Trump isn't a leader. It's literally, this is fucking Hollywood comic book narrative. It's nonsense what's going on in the world today. And
Jackie,
the freak, what
he
Paul
was up
is
there every day during the C-19 event or whatever. He was he was on the TV every day.
Warp speed.
Man, Joe Biden can't even answer a question.
Warp speed. Keeping Fauci doing what he was doing. Dude, the freak.
That's delegation, right?
Hold on. Let's not argue about politics because you're missing the point. I mean, I've got to give credit for Paul. In my mind, from a spiritual perspective, a man devoted to following the way of Christ, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but the enemies in the high places, the principalities and rulers. The enemy of today, the enemy of our freedom, the enemy of our prosperity is not people. It sure as hell is not me. The enemy of our future and prosperities is the beasts of rule, the commercial, government, corporate rules and laws that men and women are dying in wars and poverty, trying to defend and protect. So, dude, the entire systems are corrupted.
Right.
If the enemy are those states, those corporations and structures, no one knows the enemy better than Paul, from what I've seen, at least in my personal experience.
Right.
Paul knows the laws.
Can I tell you the reason for that?
You need both. You need boots on the ground and you need the spiritual.
Can I make a correlation here?
Please.
The reason that I know the enemy better than most is because I know myself better than most, and I'm able to tap into a truth that eludes most.
And I'm here to help you know yourself better.
I'm totally down for it, but it's going to take facts, and it's going to take evidence and record, and it's going to take patience, and it's going to take you substantiating your perspectives. If you can't care enough or be genuine enough to provide that, then it's probably not going to happen. But I'm open to it.
Okay, please. I appreciate that you are open to it. I'm going to turn you down just a touch. I want you to consider your part, though, too. You got to be willing. You got to be willing to consider the facts and what I bring up and point out. Because without your willingness to even consider, I got nothing.
Right. I think one would have to consider why the crux of all of our issues comes down to changing other people rather than just working to be the best versions of ourselves and sharing the results.
Because you and others, not to group, but many have not accepted me as myself. I keep getting told that I need to change or that I need to be punished because of something.
Isn't that what you're doing to everyone else that you're not getting along with in your life?
Actually, I'm just trying to have conversations. Simple as that.
Think, you get in trouble when you start talking about the geopolitics. Everything else I think is great, Jack. But they latch out of that stuff and they just crucify you with it.
Well, this is the thing. Within us, every person is different. There's been many reasons, many excuses why I was pushed away or dismissed. Much of it was like Hank and I was talking about my anger. My anger when it showed up, when I showed my emotions, that was used an excuse to push Jack away, and I don't know. But
again, the presumption every time is everyone else is lying or delusional or making excuses rather than having a common experience with you.
Well, I've explained that. The world,
you have the explanation seemingly for everything everyone says. That's the problem.
Right. And if you understood or accepted my explanations, if you considered it,
that's not how interactions with other people work, where they perceive you all the same way and then you provide a solution explanation for how they change their perspective of you. That's not how human interaction works.
Paul, when you show me a better
this may be some autism or some kind of disorder that you can't figure out how social interactions work.
No, Paul, that is you. Okay.
It's not me because I'm not the one complaining. No one understands.
You're bitter and your narrative, you want to shift the blame and say it's me, and you want to loop in this narrative. It's everybody else, Jack. Since everybody else in the past did this, I get to be dumb to you. No, Paul, you are accountable for your behavior today. And every day you are accountable for what you do, what you say. I've been suggesting to you for a while now, Paul, you need to go back and look at what you say. You're in delusions, bud. And until you're willing to find humility, you're never going to learn. I've kicked Paul out. I'm ready to wrap up.
All right. I'll just say this real quick. One of you has a Messiah complex. The other one has a God complex, and I'll let you guys figure it out. I love you both. Bye.
Well, why? Well, what should we do? Because I actually think the state of the world is pretty serious. I'm not joking about the belief that if we unite together, we can find a way to end wars and bring reform. Paul wants to just argue with costume characters in the side of the road and, put a target on his vehicle when he drives, I guess, whatever. It's some clown show that serves little. So I encourage the freak.
All right. I'll tell you, everything that you're talking about can be solved by voting for Donald Trump. Okay. After that, if that doesn't,
you're nuts, dude. You are absolutely nuts. If you think voting for Trump is the answer, holy cows. The freak, Paul, both of you, holy cows, man. This is just craziness. Brothers and sisters, whoever you receive the messages from, However you find your way to learning and to knowing these things, I encourage you to seek out to know for yourself. What is the truth? That's a big, broad word. What is God? What does truth mean to me? When you learn something and you think it's true, what does it mean to you? If it has no meaning to you, why is it there? What are you doing with it? And if you don't pay attention, you'll assign meanings to the wrong things. You'll assign value to the wrong things. Here's my example, my old life as, a public servant, diligent and loyal to the movement and the protection of the sanctity of the U.S. mail. I took my job serious, took the service I provided serious. I took my commitment to others pretty serious. I missed out on learning. When I thought I was being so responsible and obedient, paying attention to all these rules and regulations that other people had created, when I was focused on all that, I was missing out the opportunities that life brings forth. Today, brothers and sisters, today the world was created for you to discover you. And if you don't know you, how are you going to know love? That didn't come out clear. The point is when we know who you are, knowing that love is your essence, at the deepest part of you, you are love. You are made in the image of love for the purposes of love. Now, love comes in many forms. It's a mystery, it's a power, but don't let love frighten you. Allow love to humble you because love is gentle. I mean, and this is what I picture the Christ. There's so many misunderstood teachings. People act so confident and arrogant. They know what these things mean. All these people living by words in a book, scripture, want to come up and challenge me. But I tell you what, the Holy Spirit, if I'm real, God is real. So it's up to you. Am I real? Is God real to you? I know God is love. I know the only way I can know love is through life. So I know life as God. I love my life. I love your life. I pray that you love the life you're living and allow yourself to imagine. Seek the Holy Spirit within you. Don't deceive yourself, but ask your heart of hearts. Allow your mind to travel. God, if you wanted peace on earth, is there a way? Is there a way to join this idea of ending wars, setting the truth free, creating a world where selfish liars are not rewarded, where the world and positions aren't created to protect selfish liars, selfish oppressors, where the world wasn't so divided and compartmentalized, so oppressive and violent? If you want that world, claim it. It's yours. A world of peace, a world filled with love is available to us at all times. And truly, it is through love. Love can overcome. Love dissolves. Love transmutes all fears. Surrender to love and live without fear of loss. Because what can be lost that never was? I don't know. Brothers and sisters, sincerely, let's see what the future brings. Believe a world of peace is coming, and we will watch it happen through our deeds. Thank you again. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all. Peace.